Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trench Coat, a football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarb.
I am your other host, Ryan Sharp.
And I am back. I am the producer, Josh Zackless.
Josh, once again with us after missing our last pod.
What would we do without Josh? I don't know. It's a scary sight when he's not here.
I would assume so. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not here, but I would assume it's just absolutely terrifying.
It must be. So yeah, we got a great slate of games this weekend. I'm very excited to jump right in. I think we should start with the Thursday night.
Yep, finally, for the first time in a couple of weeks, we get an enjoyable Thursday night game, potentially enjoyable Thursday night game. Carolina Panthers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I think there's going to be a bunch of points scored. I think this Panthers offense is doing some really fun stuff. And against this not-so-good Steelers defense, I anticipate a shootout.
Yep, me too. I think it'll be interesting to see how Ben Roethlisberger recovers from that beating he took last week. Of course, we talked about that giant hit. He did come back into the game, but you figure you go through something like as physical as he took last week, that it might impact him moving forward. That's something to keep an eye on.
No, definitely. I think, like you said, he did come in last week, but 1 year old is Ben Roethlisberger, and you take that vicious a hit, like there have to be some repercussions. But yeah, he is playing at a level we have come to expect from Big Ben, and I doubt that'll change, but maybe.
Yep. Of course, he always has James Conner to give it to in the backfield. Conner just having a phenomenal season. And returning to the Steelers this week, we think, is Le'Veon Bell. Do you think he sees the field?
We think. I'm not so sure. I don't know if we. Has he even signed the tender yet? I don't think he's.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't think he signs this week. I don't really know what his plan is.
He has to though.
He has to. I think with air quotations mark. If he doesn't, I'm not really sure what happens. Does he lose out on free agency?
He loses out.
Sure?
Yes.
I saw a report from The Athletic this morning, and I didn't get to read it, but they said there was a way that he could not show up and still become a free agent.
Interesting. Would have been helpful if you read that. Could have given us more, but it's okay. Not a problem. But I agree. I'm not really sure how he's handled. This has just been a shit show from the jump. I'm not really sure what his plan was. I don't know. Clearly. Okay, I guess he did have a plan of that James Conner was going to suck and he was going to jump in as the hero.
Yeah.
But that failed miserably. And then when he wouldn't show up for the bye week, I think he lost any chance of becoming any semblance of a part of this offense.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what he's going to do.
You're right. I think he did lose out on that chance, but still you have to acknowledge the fact that he's one of the best runners in the league. I don't know if Mike Tomlin does that, though, and I don't blame him for doing that. And I don't think Le'Veon would want to play too much either anyway, so.
I wouldn't have to think so. I don't know. When you're getting this sort of production out of James Conner, you're not going to be...
Yeah, why would you mess
I don't think he's
up?
too worried about what other running backs are coming back. But, I mean, they still have a ridiculous crop of weapons. Big Ben is still an elite quarterback, and I don't know. I remain unbothered by unworried about the Steelers offense.
Yeah,
so
same.
Just an update on the Le'Veon story with The Athletic. Basically, there is a loophole, and it's possible for him to be viewed as a third-year franchise player if he doesn't show up instead of a second-year franchise player. I'm not sure exactly what those requirements are, but it's possible.
We'll have to see. I don't think we see him on the field this week, though.
Yeah. I would be really concerned about his ability to perform this year. I doubt he's prepared. I doubt he's... he clearly hasn't been given access to the playbook. I don't think there's no reason to think he's coming back at all. And I think James Conner's the bull they're going to ride with.
Yep. But still, Le'Veon's supposed to at least join the team this week. Supposed to. Might not happen.
Might not. Who knows?
Nope.
Who knows? But yeah, speaking on the Panthers coming off a huge victory last week over the Bucs. This team looks like one of the hottest in the NFC and a real contender for the Super Bowl.
Yep, Super Bowl contenders indeed. I think that's saying a lot based on the fact that they're in one of the, I don't want to say tougher divisions, but they're in a division with one of the toughest teams in the NFL. So you think, they kind of take a back seat to the Saints, but they just have not done that. So I think you're right when you say Super Bowl contenders. I'm excited to see those two teams play.
Yeah, that's going to be real fun down the line. But yeah, this Panthers team, legit as they come. I think their defense had a lot of question marks coming into the season, especially in the secondary. But the signing of Eric Reed and the progression made by some of their rookie cornerbacks, notably Dante Jackson, has been really impressive for the unit as a whole. And I don't know, I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of the Panthers all around.
Yep. So we're both high on the Panthers right now. Do they win this game?
I think they do. I think they go into Pittsburgh and steal a victory from the Steelers. Yep.
I think so too. I think the Panthers win this one.
Yeah, I think they're the better football team, and I don't think the Steelers' defense can keep up.
Nope. All right, so moving into Sunday now, the first game on our list is the Saints traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. What do you think of this one?
This is going to be a fun game, I think. I think the Saints' defense is legit. I think we saw last week versus the Rams that when the time comes, they are ready to step up and they can hang with the best units in the league. I think this is a solid unit that is coupled with an incredible offense, obviously, and that combination I think gonna win them a lot of games.
Yep. On the other side for Cincinnati, I think Andy Dalton has taken some major steps back in these last few weeks, and now they'll be without their star receiver AJ Green. Granted, they still have Tyler Boyd, but when you lose your best weapon, that is concerning.
Yeah, certainly worrisome. You have to wonder how much of Tyler Boyd's production came from playing alongside AJ Green, and now that he's slotted into that number one role, what's that going to look like? So I'm curious. I'm worried about the Bengals in this game, though.
Me too. Even though they're at home, I just think the Saints are better all around. Plus, like I said, the Bengals have been struggling, especially on offense. So.
Yeah, exactly. The Bengals, I don't feel as crisp as they were. They're not as crisp as they were in the beginning of the year. I think they've kind of seen a drop off. And this is a one time the leader of the AFC North, and I really worry about where they've come.
Yep. Coming off the bye, though, do you think that changes anything?
That helps a lot. I think there's a huge advantage in being able to prep 2 weeks for your opponent. But with playing a team like the Saints, I don't know how much preparation there is to do. At some point, they're just more talented than you.
Yep, I agree. The Saints are just the better team, and even with all that time, they're still the better team 2 weeks later. And speaking of being the better team, the Saints definitely bettered themselves this week by signing free agent wide receiver and former Dallas Cowboy Dez Bryant.
Yeah, that was such an out of left field signing. It felt like not yesterday, but a couple days ago they had talked about a contract, and then just like that, it got done.
Yep, that surprised me. I don't see why they would really need to sign Dez Bryant, just based on how strong their offense has been in these past couple of weeks and all season. But definitely an interesting decision to add him, and I think it'll end up paying off.
Yeah, I feel like when you add a player of that caliber, there's no downside.
Yeah, it does not hurt them one bit.
I mean, Traquan Smith is currently their wide receiver too, so I would assume Dez slots into that role when he fully learns the playbook. And I mean, I guess if they clearly saw an ability and a way to substantially improve their team, and for them, I applaud that. If that's how they felt that this would make their team better, good for them.
Yep. So we had the Saints coming off a big win over the Rams and just signing Dez Bryant. Bengals coming off the bye, looking to get going again. Who wins?
Man, I think this is probably going to be closer than people anticipate. I think the Bengals are coming off a bye at home, are a little feistier than maybe we are thinking, but I'm sticking with the Saints. I think the Saints pull this one out.
As am I. I think the Saints win this one.
Yeah, moving on though. What game we want to talk about next?
We had the Falcons going to take on the Browns in Cleveland. Falcons' big win last week over Washington, a surprising win, and Cleveland, just more disappointment.
Yeah, really struggling in Cleveland. I mean, they were playing the Chiefs. There's not really a true expectation they're going to win, and we did see some exciting things, but they still lost by double digits. They still lost at home, so like nothing. Still some signs of concern there in Cleveland.
Yeah, some signs I think is good. I think at this point for Cleveland, like we said on the Week 9 recap, you're just looking for small improvements more so than wins, especially first-year head coach, interim head coach, first-time head coach.
Yeah.
Just not the best situation with a rookie quarterback. So
no, definitely not. Speaking of head coaches, current CBS announcer Bruce Arians made waves this week when he said the only job he would come out of retirement for is the Browns job. What do you think about that? What does that say to you about Bruce Arians?
I don't know what to think of that. It seems like he's antsy to return to football, but if that's the case, why is he only interested in taking this Browns job? It might be like a power thing. He's like, I only want to coach if I can also make, more roster decisions.
Sure.
he thinks he can do that in Cleveland. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that'd be strange. I wonder if it's a sort of I really want to get back into coaching, but I don't want to like give up my power here. So I like Cleveland's the only job available right now.
Yeah.
So the fact that he would say, the only place I'll go is Cleveland. Well, where else would you go? Like what are your other options here?
I don't know. I'm assuming it doesn't happen in the middle of this season.
God, no, that'd be so weird.
Yeah, so, and I'm assuming that more coaches get fired either between now and the end of the season, and I think Black Monday is going to be pretty busy as well, so.
Yeah, probably, but there are more appealing jobs in Cleveland? That's a great question. Like, if Dallas is the head coach, is that a better job than Cleveland, you think?
Yeah, at this point, I think so.
Yeah,
I think Jerry Jones is insane, but I think you at least have a little more infrastructure there in terms of what you already have in place. And you've seen what they're at least capable of doing, if everything goes right. So.
Sure. Yeah. Trying to think of other. Do you think Doug Marrone could see the chopping block this year if they go something like 5-11 or 6-10?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Dirk Cutter's gone soon.
Dirk Cutter's gone for sure, but like to me that's not even like the Bucks are by far the worst job.
The least
in football.
appealing job. Yeah,
God, that'd be horrible. Same with the not same with the Jets, but kind of similar with the Jets. I think the Jets are a worse job than the Browns.
Yeah. I just don't know how great that Cleveland job is, especially for Bruce Arians.
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal. I don't think it's a great job. But if you really love Baker, they clearly have talent on defense. I think there's something there. If you really believe in Baker, that's what makes this job great.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. For now, though, how do you think they do against the Falcons?
Not so hot again. Because we're talking about next offseason already for the Browns. This season's kind of done. The Falcons only sit at 4-4 and have injuries galore along their defensive side of the ball, but they are still one of the scarier teams in football. Like they can just put up points with the best of them.
Yep. Last week, Tevin Coleman really had I don't want to say a breakout game because he has one of those every year. It feels like, but just an awesome game, bunch of yards, a bunch of touchdowns, and Julio finally scored.
Yeah.
So
Julio broke the seal.
Yeah. If he's getting hot now, then. It's not looking great for Cleveland this week.
No, I'm not liking Cleveland's chances. But that's why I'm taking the Falcons, our third straight NFC South road team, taking home a dub. How about you though? What do you think happens?
I agree with you. I think the Falcons are just too good right now. Even though they're not that great, but they're certainly strides ahead of Cleveland. So
yeah, I don't know
how
much that's saying, but yeah, they're certainly strides ahead of Cleveland.
All right, moving on now, we have Detroit traveling to Chicago in NFC North matchup. What do you make of this game?
Well, two teams that kind of coming off real different wins. Bears coming off that 41-9 just evisceration of the Bills. That was embarrassing for everyone involved in Buffalo. And the Lions kind of coming off a similar beatdown, but on the other end of it, losing 24-9 to the Vikings. So real questionable, real teams at two different points in their progression, and one for the Lions, who I think had much higher hopes than where they're currently standing.
After that Miami win, it seemed like things were finally, changing direction with them for this season. They had already beat New England at that point, and then they've just fallen apart since. Meanwhile, the Bears have been getting just hotter and hotter, and even Mr. Trubisky has not performed well, but he's managed the game to the point where they're winning games and scoring a lot of points.
He is not taking them out of games. That is the best compliment I can give Mitchell Trubisky right now. He's not giving away games. So props to you, Mitchell Trubisky. You're still horrible, but you're not as bad as Nathan Peterman, and that's all you had to do last week.
Yep.
So I think another similar game where he's not going to be asked a whole lot of. Their Lions defense is pretty pathetic. At every position the Bears have an advantage. I think they are stronger across every facet of the game and except for quarterback, and I think that's enough to win this game.
Yep, in this particular game, especially at home, I think that's enough to win for sure.
Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement here. Bears taking this one.
Yep, no fighting yet, and it doesn't look like if we move on to this next game, we'll fight again. Cardinals traveling to Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should watch it. I think the Chiefs are going to be up 24-0 in the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, I am intrigued. I kind of want to watch the first quarter. I just want to see how out of hand it gets and how fast it happens.
God, how incredible would this be if this was like a Bills-Vikings game when when just a lackluster, just overall crap show of a team goes into what we think is a Super Bowl contender and whoops them.
This is like when the 0-11 Chiefs beat the 11-0 Packers a couple years ago.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that happens.
No, yeah, that would be what. Again, this would be an incredible Rosen game. This would be awesome if this Cardinals offense just puts it all together for this game. But I don't see it happening.
Nah.
If this game was in Arizona and not in Kansas City, do you think 10,000 people show up for this game?
Yeah, probably still. It's still an NFL football
I think you have enough Chiefs transplants alone to get 10,000 people.
Enough Chiefs fans who are miserable in Kansas City who would fly down here for the weekend.
Or they just live here because who wants to live in Missouri in the winter?
Facts. So yeah, I think
shout out to Missouri.
I don't feel bad.
But yeah, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath from the jump, honestly.
Yep. Like you said, everything would have to go perfect for the Cardinals offense, and I don't think Josh Rosen is anywhere close to figuring out what good is. So yeah, perfect. Certainly not going to happen, especially against this Chiefs team. I think the Chiefs defense is strong enough that it can shut down this Cardinals offense pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
We've seen enough from Kansas City's D to think, okay, in the moments they need to, they'll step up.
Yep,
so yeah,
and they can definitely handle this Cardinals team.
I mean, look at what the Broncos defense did to the Cardinals 2 weeks ago.
True.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. This is going to be an absolute blowout, but will be kind of fun for the first couple minutes.
Yep. See how fast the Chiefs get off or get started.
Yeah, can't wait. So yeah, both of us taking the Chiefs at home.
Yep. Moving on now, we have a rematch of one of the AFC divisional games. Flip stadiums, though. New England travels to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Tennessee coming off a a very big Monday Night Football win. And Patriots, as we know, just keep winning anyway. So.
Yeah, Patriots are going to do what Patriots are going to do. Not a whole lot of surprises, it feels like, so far from the... it feels like ever since that Lions loss, they've kind of flipped everything around. That was kind of the turning point to a certain extent.
It's just every year they have these 1 or 2 games where they don't show up and they lose to the worst team. And then that's really it from them.
I wonder if that's like a Belichick plan to a certain extent. I wonder if there's any logic behind that. By thinking, okay, we're just going to crap the bed versus one of these horrible teams and, see how everyone reacts. Like we were talking about Nick Saban and his planned speeches or something, right?
Yeah.
And so, how he knows that, like, he can't deliver a message just straight up. He has to let them learn it almost. And I wonder if that's the Belichick move here. Is like he sees these flaws in his team and purposely lets them be exploited so they can learn the mistakes on their own.
And then fix it.
Exactly, and then fix it.
I mean, that does kind of make sense.
Man, you can't... oh man, I'm riding with that. That is 1,000% what he does.
That's a good theory. I will support you in your endeavors and
thank you.
spreading this.
I appreciate that. Much like Cliff Kingsbury to the Texans, I think we got something here.
Yep, for sure. And Le'Veon to Cleveland.
Exactly. I think we might have to change that to Le'Veon to Miami, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I know. I'm sorry. We talked about this, that we don't want you to get your hopes up. Similar to Baker to Miami, the opportunity is there for your heart to just get crushed. But imagine Le'Veon Bell in a Miami Dolphins jersey.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be real cool.
For now, though, the Patriots and Titans. I know the Titans have that big win on the road over Dallas, but I don't think they're good enough to beat this Patriots team, even if they are at home.
Yeah, me either. A lot of Patriots transplants on this current Titans team. We got head coach Mike Vrabel, starting corner Malcolm Butler, starting running back Deion Lewis. There are quite a few similarities, but I feel like the original is always going to be better than the replacement or the mock.
The motivation of those 3 people alone to beat their former team, I don't think is going to be enough to actually do that. So I am going to take the Patriots in this game.
I'm with you on this one. I think a real good team, real good week so far for road teams. I think the Patriots pull this one out.
Yep. All right. So moving on now to the Redskins and Buccaneers. Redskins coming off that weird loss to the Falcons, a game we thought they performed much better in, and Tampa Bay, of course, pulling within striking distance of Carolina, but then falling out of contention to win pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, two teams, really embarrassing losses. More so for the Redskins, just because this is the division leader in the NFC East. They had prided themselves on their defense coming into that Falcons game last week, and then Falcons roll in and drop 48 on them. Like if I'm this Redskins unit, I really need to readjust. I really need to re-examine where my strengths lie, because clearly what they were doing last week wasn't working.
Yep. Lucky for them, though, I think this game against Tampa Bay is the perfect place to do that.
I agree. Yeah, this Bucks team is just dismal. There is nothing good going on here. I think they have basically 1.5 offensive weapons, depending on, like, I think Mike Evans is a legit weapon, and then, you know, you can scrape together like another one maybe through Deshaun Jackson, Adam Humphries, but like there's just not a lot to love on the offensive side of the ball. And defensively, it's the worst unit in football. So, like, that combination right there is just a depressing state of affairs.
No, I just want Tampa Bay's season to be over.
Yeah.
There are a couple teams on this podcast, I feel like we keep saying the same thing every week. Tampa's one of them, except for those first three, which is also something we've said on the podcast every week since. But, yeah, things not looking great for Tampa. And I think Washington this week rebounds and reestablishes themselves as not the power in the NFC East, but at least as the leader.
Yeah. I really, not my gut. I don't know what body part is less important than the gut, but something inside me is telling me the Bucks at home is intriguing. But I'm sticking with the Redskins. I think their defense returns to form. And I think Alex Smith does enough. But this is probably going to be a little too close for any Redskins fans' comfort. And we might be seeing the end of the Redskins NFC East run.
Yep. So you're picking Washington.
I'm picking Washington, but in the least convincing fashion.
All right. I guess we're ready to move on then. We've got a thriller coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Bills at Jets. Let's go.
Nathan Peterman versus Josh McCown. Who's not excited for this one, baby? I can't wait.
Yeah, this is just going to be so awesome. Sam Darnold was spotted in a walking boot today. Unclear if it's foot or ankle from what I've heard. But we have heard that he is out for Sunday's game, as are Derek Anderson and Josh Allen.
So, yeah, man, this is going to be so hilariously awful to watch.
Yep, I think the Jets are looking at another 13-6 game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Whatever the over-under is in this game, bet the under. Like, yeah. I have never felt more. I think the over-under could be like 20, and it'd be like, yeah, let's think about it. Because this is going to be a shit show.
Yeah, Jets obviously coming off a terrible week of offense. I think a lot of that had to do with just Sam Darnold having a rough day, but even aside from that, it didn't look like they couldn't get anything going anywhere on the field. And now Josh McCown makes his season debut, so I don't know how great that goes for them. But luckily, they're playing the Bills. It should be a little easier. But do you think that makes it much easier?
I would. It would be a stretch to say much easier, but against the Bills at home against Nathan motherfucking Peterman, I like their chances. I think the Jets pull this one out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Jets offense versus Bills defense. But just based on how the Bills defense has disappointed in the past few weeks, plus traveling on the road, I think the Jets win this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Please don't watch this game, though. There are so many better early games. And
yeah, watch Cardinals-Chiefs.
Watch anything. Watch
Jags-Colts, which we're talking about next. Once we establish our picks, though, I am taking the Jets.
I am also taking the Jets.
All right, cool. I think that's a good call. Moving on to Jacksonville at Indianapolis now. Jacksonville falling apart. Colts never really got it together. What do you think?
Man, I think this is going to be Jags coming off their bye week, so kind of maybe a moment for them to regroup and kind of reestablish where they stand. Hopefully getting star running back Leonard Fournette back, so there are some signs that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel. But man, this Jacksonville season has gone to crap. I mean, this was a team who was a quarter of football away from the Super Bowl last season. And this year they look like one of the 5 worst teams in the league.
Yep, they beat up on New England in week 2, and since then it has just been a crapshoot. going against that Indianapolis defense, though, that I had my doubts in when they played the Bills, and then they only allowed 5 points. So I don't know how bad they really are. Are they good enough, though, to at least stop Blake Bortles?
I think so. I really do have to believe that. I think they are incredibly young. I mean, they're led by basically Darius Leonard at linebacker and Malik Hooker at safety. Like, and those are two combined. They have 2 years of experience. You know, Darius Leonard's a rookie, so one basically. There's nothing really there in terms of veteran leadership, but they've been able to pull it together. They're a ragtag a group that is really rejuvenated kind of this Colts team to a certain extent. Maybe they're not putting up the wins one might hope to see, but they're in games, they're competitive. Frank Reich's clearly a solid coach, so there's something there in Indy.
Yep, Andrew Luck quietly having a good season, and Jacksonville defense quietly having a bad season.
Exactly.
So I think a veteran like Andrew Luck will be able to exploit where Jacksonville has been struggling and win this game for the Colts.
I agree. If this was in Jacksonville and the situation was exactly the same, I kind of like the Jags in this one. I think there is some bounce back potential, but I think Andrew Luck probably doesn't have the best day of his career. I think the Jaguars' defense is better than we're giving them credit for, and a week of rest will really do them some good, but I still like the Colts at home.
Same. So moving on now, your Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders. This seems like it should be in the bag for the Chargers, knock on wood. What might go wrong here?
What might go wrong?
What does go wrong?
If the Raiders win, it comes from an incredible Derek Carr performance where he puts this lackluster group of receivers on his back and just absolutely torches the LA/San Diego secondary. There's been some real concerns, I think, throughout the year. Casey Hayward is one of the best corners in the league and was paid as such this past offseason, but he has really struggled this year in some areas of pass coverage, and he's always been one of the shorter corners in the league, but his lack of height coupled with his kind of declining speed makes some serious areas there. So if the Raiders win this game, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be Derek Carr playing out of his mind.
Yep. Just based off what I've seen from Derek Carr this season, though, I don't think that happens.
Me too. That's the thing. I always fear as a Chargers fan that Derek Carr game is coming, but they just lost 37-3 to the Niners. So to me, that gives some credence to the idea that he might just be done. He might just be not as good as he was.
Yep. I am gonna have to go ahead and go with the Chargers in this game. It is in Oakland, but they're the Raiders.
They're the Raiders. It's still John Gruden. I don't know. I think I hate picking the Chargers, but I'm going to in this one. I think this. I don't know how comfortable this victory is, but I think they are the clearly better team. I think they have substantially more talent, and this Raiders team's just dog shit. Yep. They're so bad.
Yep. And we'll see Jacob eat his words on next week on Two Kids in a Trench Coat.
Facts. Yeah.
If I could just suggest one thing to Jacob, it is not to start Derek Carr or the Raiders defense.
Made both those mistakes last week, and it came to bite me. So definitely staying away from that this week.
Yep. For now, though, we'll talk about a team that has a pretty good defense, and that is the Rams at home against the Seahawks this week. This could be a good game. It was a good game last year.
A good game last year. Good game earlier this season.
Yep.
So there is certainly an idea that this will be an exciting game. Last time these two teams met, Chris Carson went absolutely bonkers. I would be surprised if he didn't do something similar this week. I think this Rams defense, especially their run defense, is questionable to say the least. I think we saw Alvin Kamara kind of chew them up last week, and I don't like the Seahawks to win, but I think they're similar to the last time these two teams played. I think this is going to be much closer than people anticipate.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Rams defense might still be going through a lot of fatigue. Like we said, that Packers game was tough on them. The Saints game was obviously tough on them, and now they're traveling back home. But this the Seahawks team isn't a game they can kind of relax for. They have to go with that same intensity.
No, definitely. There's no scoffing at this Seahawks offense. Russell Wilson's still one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, and anytime you play a quarterback that mobile, it's gonna stress out your defense. It's gonna take a toll and for an already tired defense, I think it's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any stopping Jared Goff and the Rams offense, especially with this Seattle defense. I know they're not that bad, but the Rams offense is just so high powered. I think they score more points, and that's pretty much how they win.
Yeah,
which is obvious.
Good recipe usually. If you score more points, you usually win. But yeah, I think this Rams offense is fantastic. It's at a whole different level. Sandwiched in between these incredible games, they go from Packers to Saints, and next week they play the Chiefs on Monday night. There's kind of this little trap game lurking, and I think there's serious potential. If they hadn't lost last week, if they were still undefeated, I might be ballsy enough to pick the Seahawks.
No, I think the Rams do win this game, though.
See, I disagree with the way that you guys say the game is going to go. I agree with the Rams are going to win, but I think they're going to roll. I mean, I think they're really mad that they lost their unbeaten streak last week to the Saints on the road, and the way that they lost it, like, it's not like it was a close game, like a last-second Drew Brees amazing touchdown. Like, no, like, they kind of got blown out.
I don't know. 10 points getting I see what you're saying, Josh, but I think there's some credence to the idea that they're really tired. This team has yet to have their bye week. They have been the intensity of staying undefeated, even though they lost it last week, staying one of the best teams in the league, I think is taxing on your team. And while I still think the Rams are going to win this one, definitely a close one.
Yep. Moving on now to our next game, another team that hasn't had their bye week yet. That is the Dolphins traveling to take on the Packers at Lambeau Field. I haven't ruled this out.
As a Dolphins
I haven't ruled out a win.
Sure.
For the Dolphins. Granted, it is Aaron Rodgers. They are at home. They did just lose. And the Dolphins still, their record is 5-4. I don't know if that's really representative of how good they are, though. So, an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, only mustering 150 odd yards from an offense last week is not a great sign going forward. I would be concerned about that. Are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty concerned, at least offensively, because the Jets are not that great on defense.
No, that's the thing. That's a solid defense, but I think the Packers are about comparable.
Yeah,
and clearly, I think the Dolphins are going to be facing a slightly higher octane offense than they did last week.
Yeah, no rookie quarterback this week. It's one of the best ever. If they could have a strong defensive performance like they did, that would be great. I think a lot of that starts with the pass rush. The Patriots were getting to Aaron Rodgers a good amount, but all their starters are also healthy. So
that certainly helps.
Yeah.
But the key pieces are still there. Cameron Wake is still firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
Is Robert Quinn? We saw him go down last week, correct?
Yeah, he's all right, though.
He's all right. Great. So then Robert Quinn will be
4 sacks last week against the Jets. So.
Pretty impressive stuff. So hopefully he can replicate that performance this week. I think I'm less sure how close this game will be. I think it will be interesting. I think there will be some plays. I think Brock Osweiler certainly plays better than he did previously. I think this Packers defense has serious holes in it, and I would anticipate the Dolphins are down basically from the coin flip. So I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game.
Yeah, I think the best way for the Dolphins to beat the Packers is the same way the Patriots did, and that is expose their young corners and get the ball downfield as quick as they can.
Do you think Brock Osweiler can do that?
Next question.
Yeah. Not as well as Tom Brady. That's my answer.
Sure.
So I think this will be a fun game, but sorry to say, Ryan, I think I had the Packers winning this one at home.
Yeah, I don't blame you because I am also picking the Packers, especially at home, and after that loss to New England, I think this is kind of a bounce back game for them.
The little used reverse jinx, I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on though to our Sunday night game, somehow another primetime game for these Dallas Cowboys as they travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles.
Yeah, I really hate that this game is on Sunday night. It's not as bad as the Monday night game we're about to talk about, but
there could be
there are better games for sure. I think Dolphins, Packers, or Seahawks, Rams
would definitely
be
certainly more enjoyable.
Yep. As for the Eagles, they did sign Golden Tate, which is cool.
Yeah.
Or they traded for him. Excuse me. Looks okay.
I think that's a great move. I think having the bye week to work him into their offense was huge, and I had serious concerns about this Eagles receiving core before the trade, and now giving them that short field run yards after catch sort of presence is something they'd really been missing, and I think they're going to be. I think now their pieces all kind of fit together a lot smarter. I think.
Yeah.
Alshon on the outside, Nelson Aguilar going deep. I think that everything that collection makes a lot of sense. I think the Eagles are kind of hitting their stride coming off the bye week. Everyone's getting healthy. Their stable of running backs is starting to form something. I really do think they found something in Josh Adams. I think he's a legit starting running back, and I'm curious to see what he'll do with more reps.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of faith in this Eagles run game yet, but you're right. They are starting to come together, and I think this is a good week for them to really show what they're capable of.
Really lay the smack down. Really reassert themselves.
Prove us wrong.
We're the Super Bowl. Like, they need to just come out with some freaking anger. Like, we're the Super Bowl champs. This is our freaking rival. Let's beat you into the freaking ground.
They could really use.
I've been waiting for that all season, Jacob. I have been waiting for that performance all season from the Eagles. And if I'm being honest, I think it's a little bit of fatigue. I think this Eagles team is playing like it's week 4. And I think they just weren't. I think a lot of these key pieces, Alshon Jeffrey, Carson Wentz, and we know their injuries have been pretty public, but I think there have been private injuries too. Injuries that are kind of just on the down low, and people just don't know about them too much. And that's affecting this Eagles team. That affected their offseason workouts, and they just haven't hit their stride yet. I think maybe they'll hit it soon, which would be really nice, but that just might be my fan optimism speaking.
Sure.
They are coming off the bye week, though, and they are playing this Cowboys team that just suffered an embarrassing loss to the Titans at home. So I am going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, me too. I am hating what I'm seeing from the Cowboys. I'm
actually loving what I'm seeing from the Cowboys, but go on, Jacob.
Their offensive schemes are simplistic. Dak Prescott is struggling to make solid throws. They're getting Zeke in space, which is something I like a little bit more. But like besides that, man, I hate what I see for their offense. And defensively, they're fine. Defensively, I think they have some pieces. I love Byron Jones. I kind of actually really love the pieces they put together. I think Leighton Vander Esch is really good. I think Jalen Smith is really good. But collectively, they're just not doing the work. And so yeah, I think the Eagles roll. I think this is a blowout. I think we're going to see something like 38-7. I think it's going to be.
I think this is a momentum shift for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Just for them to get a big win like this, especially against a division rival. And I think this is kind of a wake-up call for Jerry Jones. Maybe he finally realizes that Jason Garrett is not the answer.
Oh, man, I mean...
Is there such thing as a wake-up call for Jerry Jones?
Probably not.
He almost drafted Johnny Manziel to the Cowboys. How disastrous would that have been?
Okay, that would have been incredible, but not for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for all the Cowboys. We're talking from a Cowboys perspective. How disastrous. Stephen Jones had to take the draft card out of his hand. That's insane to me.
Yeah, clearly some issues going on in the. I mean, maybe not issues. Maybe this is just how their franchise is going to be from now until eternity. But yeah, clearly
I am very okay with that.
Clearly, a change needs to happen at head coach, and we'll see if the loss here spurs Jerry Jones into action. I'm gonna lean no though, probably not.
Yep, same. Moving on now to our final game of the week. The Giants, also a team with a lot of issues on the field. Traveling to San Francisco to take on Nick Mullins in his second career game and second career primetime game, if you can believe that.
Incredible. Yeah, I think this is a streak that must continue. I think every game Nick Mullins plays for the rest of his career has to be on primetime. I think that's a deal we made with the devil.
Yep. This particular game, though, I know last week we said Nick Mullins looked like Brett Favre, and I think he continues to look like Brett Favre against the Giants on Monday Night Football.
I mean, if you're putting up 37 points against the Raiders, there's no reason why you can't do it against the Giants. I loved what I saw from Nick Mullins last week. He played out of his freaking mind, and if he does that again, which I would not be shocked, that'd be incredible.
Nope. I think if the Giants win this game, it is thanks to the ground game and Saquon Barkley. And maybe Odell has an okay night. But yeah, I like the Niners in this game.
This would be a fun week though for the crazy Saquon game, like 250 yards on the ground, 150 through the air, 4 total touchdowns, something like where he's just like, "Yep, I'm the best running back prospect since Adrian Peterson,"
You're going to watch
and
me.
you're going to feel my wrath. I could totally see that game. That'd be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I just don't know if Eli Manning can throw the ball 6 yards to him for him to get those 150 yards.
That is a great point,
receiving.
Yeah. How will he handle all those screens that I'll have to throw?
Yeah, oh man, it's going to be tough. Niners, though, I think have the advantage over the Giants' defense, and it comes down to what the Giants' offense can do, and just they haven't been able to really get anything going, and I think that continues, especially on the road.
I see what you're saying, but is this our first disagreement? Holy crap! Were we really? Wow. God, well, thank goodness for it. I am picking the Giants. That Saquon game I predicted that I just laid out. I think something similar to that goes through. There is just too much talent on the Giants offense to struggle against a mediocre Niners defense like this. And I think there's enough tape on Nick Mullins that the Giants defense will resemble something of a competent unit, and their offensive firepower will be enough to lead them to victory on Monday night.
I disagree with that and everything you just said. As cool as it would be to see that awesome game from Saquon, I'd be fine with that. But I'm going to have to pick the Niners.
You know what? Just to play devil's advocate, I'm picking a tie.
Boo.
I'm picking a tie.
Like a 6-6 tie.
Ties would I take back my boo. Another tie would be incredible. We haven't had
our fourth tie of the season, Jacob.
We haven't had enough ties yet. We had a rash of them in the early season. We've kind of dropped off. It's real disappointing.
Yep. So let's get one back.
Yes. Okay. I change everything. Tie is what I want in this game.
I'm still picking the Niners, but a tie would be fun.
Yeah. If we can't have tie, I guess I'll go with the Giants.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add before this week of football?
No. I'm looking forward to it. I think this will be a really great week. A lot of killer games. Clearly, we're on the same thought process with a lot of these. Only one disagreement. So I'm curious to see whether we're really right or we're really wrong.
We're either gonna look super great or super not great, and we will let you know how we did on our Week 10 recap podcast next week. See you then.